2 weeks. When you stare too long into the fog, sometimes it stares back. 1 month. Tick-tock. That's all it took for the quiet to turn into something else. Let me tell you a little story, friends. Something I heard whispered near the edge of a fire in a cold, unnamed town. It was once in Ukraine before the war blew the windows off the world. Maybe it's still there. Maybe it isn't. In the village of Zelenka, not far from the twisted shadows of Chernobyl, a boy named Mykola waited. Not for food, not for freedom, not even for peace. He was waiting for the ticking to stop. It had started exactly 1 month ago when a voice from a foreign land echoed across the broken rooftops. 2 weeks, it said, and the war will be over. The wind carried the words like a virus, invisible yet strangely heavy. The babushkas didn't believe it, the soldiers didn't blink. But the children, oh, they heard the ticking. You could hear it too if you were alone, past midnight, just behind your ear. Tick, tock, tick. A countdown to what? No one knew. Maybe you do now. Maybe you've heard it since then. You might still be hearing it now. People started disappearing on day 13. First the rats, not a single one left to scurry in the basements. Then the crows, mid-flight, fell from the sky like stones. And then Alexander, the farmer with the iron teeth, just gone. But the fields kept plowing themselves every night, perfectly straight lines. Mykola watched from his attic window. He'd stopped going outside after his mother's eyes turned black like wet coal, and she started talking in riddles about iron trains from the east. She sang the Russian anthem backward over and over until her voice choked on its own blood. He buried her in the cellar with the help of his little sister, Alina. Alina kept drawing the same picture in crayon, a man with no face and a burning clock for a heart. Every morning the clock read 1313, and she whispered, "He's coming to fix the timeline." The villagers named the creature 2 weeks. They said he wore a coat stitched from false promises, medals pinned to each lie. His boots crushed truth like dry bone, and every time someone believed him, he grew stronger. "The war will be over soon," he said again, on every TV, in every language. But when night fell, he came hunting. You didn't see him, not directly. You just heard the ticking get louder. If you tried to hide under blankets, behind prayers, it didn't matter. He smelled hope. He peeled it from your skin and wore it as a mask. Alina vanished on day 18. All that remained was the drawing, except now it had Mykola's face inside the burning clock, and something scrawled beneath it. "Wake up the world." So Mykola climbed the bell tower on day 20. From there, he sent messages through stolen internet lines, whispered truths through broken code. He didn't beg. He didn't plead. He just told the world what he'd seen. Ukraine is not broken. You can see the truth if you open your eyes. Stand with us, spread light, burn the fog away. And somewhere in the dark corners of the internet, people began to listen. A soldier in Berlin painted sunflowers on his helmet. A poet in Warsaw wrote verses that made old men cry. A child in Florida drew a new picture. This time the clock was melting, and a blue-yellow flag was rising in the flames. But 2 weeks was not done. On day 27, he arrived at the church. Mykola heard the wood scream under his boots. The bells rang in reverse, the walls oozed with static and oil, and the fog poured in like a living thing. He stood face to face with the boy. "You were supposed to wait," 2 weeks rasped. "Patience is surrender dressed in hope." But Mykola smiled. His eyes burned bright like midnight suns. "And you were supposed to be gone by now." He pulled a small radio from his coat, pressed play. It was the voice of Ukraine. Laughter in bunkers, songs in shattered halls, screams of resistance turned into hymns of steel. You see, the soul of a people can't be erased by propaganda or delay. You can't outwait truth. 2 weeks screamed, a sound like broken glass inside a throat of lies. The fog recoiled, the ticking stopped. Some say the creature still roams, but weaker now. He feeds on silence. He drinks from fear. But every time someone says, "I stand with Ukraine," truth has no timeline. Freedom doesn't wait on tyrants. He fades just a little more. So, if you're reading this, leave a comment that burns the fog away. Share a memory, say a name, light a candle, speak truth into the dark, because silence is how monsters win, and you're not a monster. You're the fire they fear.